Dear fellow recruiters, Suman Pachigulla here. And today, the topic is about how you can maximize your placements by minimizing the interview rejections, right? You might be wondering, how could we do that? Because the candidate is going to take the interview, and how we as a recruiter have the control over that, right? If you are thinking like this, I would recommend you to stay till the end of this video, because I'm going to share my experience and few techniques that can maximize the ratio of going to interview and getting the offer. Okay, so now let's understand what happens when a candidate goes to the interview and the interviewers ask the question. Majority of the time, what happens? The candidates gets rejected because unfit of the skills or could not able to explain something, or the person could not able to convince the interviewer, right? And it's very rare that a client rejects someone for the cultural fit. So now if you need to understand how this all mechanism works, is it starts with your screening, then it goes to clients, then interview, then we do not know what is going to happen. So now how you can control that? This is what primary thing you need to do when you talk to the candidate. Most of the time, what recruiters tell the candidate is to update the resume according to the job description, so that when the hiring manager sees the resume, there will be matching experience the hiring manager will find, and then the interview will be scheduled, correct? That is how you do, and that is how I also did it. But what is that a small thing I did differently? Would you be interested to know the secret? Put that in the comment box. Yes, I'm interested to know that. All right, now let me share the secret. Most of the recruiters, they ask the candidates to update the resume with responsibilities, skills, or some other informations which can show the candidate that the person is capable or eligible for the particular role. But we need to understand one thing. It is not the CV or the resume which is going to take the interview. It is the candidate who is going to take the interview. It is not the CV, the resume who is going to work there. It is the candidate who has to go and work in the project. So instead, focusing more on beautifying the resume, we got to focus more on training the candidate. And how would you do that? And it should start from the beginning of resume tailoring. All right. Why most of the candidates fail in the interview for the technical reasons is the client asks for something and the candidate could not able to answer that. And that happens around the globe. You pick out a resume, you look at a resume, you ask question and the candidate do not answer and you reject, right? But now I'm going to share my strategy that you can use in your day-to-day work. Whenever you're talking to the candidate, you tell them that, dear candidate, your resume looks perfect, but that is not my intention. My intention is to land you on an interview, and I want you to crack the interview. We know that most of the resumes built by these vendors or the employer guys. Very rarely candidates prepare the resume unless that is a genuine candidate or a US citizen or a green card holder, or as a real-time experienced person, right? So to keep that in your mind, you tell the candidate that if you have not prepared the resume, this is what my sincere suggestion to you. If you have prepared the resume, still I would like to suggest something to you. Now, before I send this resume to the client, I want you to rework on your resume and remove everything, any skill or any responsibility that makes you feel uncomfortable. If the client asks you to explain, please remove that. It is okay if I submit a resume with 3 pages instead of 5 pages, right? So now what happens if I submit your 5 pages resume without removing those things? You will have some discomfort in your subconscious level, and when the hiring manager look at your resume, if they ask something, if you are not able to answer that, you are going to lose an opportunity. But how would it be if you prepare your resume in such a way that you are so confident about anything that is there in the resume, and you want the same thing to go to the client, and the hiring manager looks at it and asks you question anything from the resume, and you are able to answer because you have removed everything that may scare you, right? So this is how you have to rework, and I want you to go and face the interview with optimum confidence rather than thinking, oh my God, what is that client is going to ask? How I'm going to manage that experience? Did I fake there? How if the hiring manager finds out, right? The same thing you need to tell to the candidate, that remove any experience that you think should not be in the resume, and you really don't want the hiring manager to look at it and ask you question related to that. Okay? And now, what happens most of the time is your team lead or your manager wants you to send a big resume, full resume, right? They may say, hey, this candidate has 7 years experience and why it is only 4 pages. Now you tell this thing to your manager. Dear manager, I asked the candidate to remove unnecessary information from the resume so that the resume will be going with legitimate information, and it will give the candidate confidence when he faces the interview. Now tell me, you want a long resume with doubt in the mind, or you want a short resume with a confidence in mind? It is up to you. Whatever the resume you want me to submit, I will submit. But don't blame me if the candidate gets rejected in the interview, because obviously if you send a resume with so much of information and the client asks something and the candidate could not able to answer that, you know the consequences. So why we should not submit something true experience with exact 100% confidence the candidate can show when he or she goes to the interview? That's it. So now what you should be doing is, instead of asking the candidate to add more and more just to beautify the resume, pour confidence in the candidate by asking them, I understand. You might have written so many things. Your vendor might have added so many things. Now, this is about your confidence and your strengths. Whatever you think that need to be in the resume, put it that and remove other stuff. All right? From there, you will be able to identify the real candidate and real experience. All right? I hope you liked it. Do share, comment, and subscribe to this channel. And if you are looking for a training or mentorship, do connect with me, because if you are like everyone, you are for no one. You have to be different and unique. What are you waiting for? Let's connect with me. And if you have any doubts, put that in the comment box and see if I can answer that. All right? Implement these strategies today and share your experience. Take care and God bless. Bye-bye.